For 11 years and change, we've all been absolutely riveted by the murder of Dan Markel, the FSU law professor, gunned down in his Tallahassee driveway back on July 18th, 2014. But to one family, and especially one woman, this case has meant more to her than anyone in the entire world.
Welcome to the global phenomenon, Surviving the Survivor. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning journalist, Joel Waldman.
What's up, STS Nation? Welcome to Surviving the Survivor. This is the show that brings you the very best guests in all of true crime, and sometimes we bring you the best family members involved in a horrific crime, which occurred back, as I said, on July 18th, 2014. And since our time is limited, without further ado, here is Ruth Markel, the mother of Dan Markel, who had to sit through yet another trial. Ruth, just before I ask you about that moment of truth with the verdict, a lot of people have been asking, I know you are a rock star because I have talked to you, but you are rocking the sunglasses. What happened? Why are you wearing the sunglasses?
Well, first of all, thank you, Joel, for having me. And also thank you all the time for really mentioning the family and Dan in specific. It's very hard with the glitz and glory of the case to remember that we're family is out there. So the glasses are not meant to be fashionable. Unfortunately, I guess it was the Monday of the trial. I fell in the parking lot, and rather than having pretty blue eyes, I have raccoon eyes, and I really actually injured my head. The only good news in this story is that I didn't have any head injuries. So thank you for noticing, and maybe in another 6 weeks, that's what they say, it'll be gone. So I'm hoping.
No matter what, you can't take away Ruth's beauty. So Ruth, again, I know Ruth only has about 7 or 8 minutes with us tonight, but it was almost a 3-week trial. I was there. You were obviously there. The jury goes back, they deliberate, and now Judge Stephen Everett, who has an amazing command of the entire courtroom, reads the verdict slip. Right before he read that, what was running through your mind? Do you even know?
What was running through my mind was whether we're going to get life. To be honest, the two, for me personally, I'm only can talk for myself. Conspiracy and solicitation of murder were, in my heart of hearts, a done deal. But you never know until you really hear it. And first of all, Judge Everett did a great job of really running a tight courtroom. There was a few moments of, a kindergarten feeling in there, but we have to really thank him. So the issue is really the first, whether she's going to get murder, whether she's going to get life. Did we meet the criteria? As he read it in the morning. And what I think is amazing for the jurors, they hear this stuff for the first day, for the first time. Can you imagine getting this major, it's almost like a lecture on, what the jury notes have to be. And then they have to make these decisions, in a short time period, the same day. So my hat is out to all the jurors as well.
Yeah, I interviewed juror 5, 6, and I'm about to interview the jury 4 person. I got to tell you, Ruth, they appeared to me from the onset to be literally almost a professional type jury. And speaking to them, I was reassured of that. It's amazing how serious they took this civic duty, and they were trying to be as fair as possible to the defendant. So Judge Everett reads the verdict, and you get guilty on count 1. Donna's sort of blood-curdling scream, it's a haunting sound. Obviously, justice was delivered in that moment. What was that moment like for you when you knew that your, this former relative through marriage is now going away to prison for life?
I think that this particular part of the long 11 years, and thank you for being there in the last few years, is an important outcome. I think, along the way, you're building sort of not only the case, but the journey. But then from my point of view, not anyone else's, this outcome is extremely positive because I see her as the architect, the orchestrator, the coordinator, as she was known in one of her TV shows. and really the implementer. So this would not happen if there was not Donna Adelson in the program. What I mean, the program meaning the theater aspect of the program. But it's definitely an accomplishment in the journey towards justice for Danny.
And one you kind of refer to some toddler moments. So one quote unquote toddler moment that stuck out to me was when Donna had to decide about testifying. And I keep saying it was like a 5-year-old trying to choose between a grape or cherry lollipop. Like she just didn't know what to do, how to do, what decision to make until Judge Everett essentially said, look, I'm going to hold you all in contempt of court unless I get an answer. And then Donna said, I'm not going to testify. And then we got word that night and confirmed by Georgia that Donna had a change of heart. And Georgia said she had like a 110-page binder with tabs. And we know those tabs are not something you want to be asked about. All ready to go for Donna. Were you surprised that she did not testify or disappointed? Your reaction to that?
No, actually, I think I've been a contrarian in this particular trial on a few issues, and that's one of them. And the reason I think she didn't testify or wasn't sure, Donna had orchestrated and been in control of so many things throughout her life and throughout even the whole story about Danny. This is a situation where she was on the vulnerable end of the continuum, not her strength. And as a result of being vulnerable, she didn't want to take a risk, you see, which is very contrarian to her other ways of behaving. So my interpretation of that was she was too low to really try to even take that level of risk. That's my interpretation versus, out there slugging away, slugging at people, orchestrating plans and so forth. So she was more in a defeat moment. Not that she felt she's losing, but that was before she was losing. She didn't know about the loss of the trial yet.
Yeah, we had a body language expert, and I couldn't see Dawn at the moment of the reading of the verdict. I could only hear her kind of wailing, but apparently there were no tears. And our body language expert said it was more performative than anything else. Now, I know a lot of times you don't want to go into this, so feel free to tell me you're not comfortable answering. But there were a couple of new pieces of evidence. For example, that Donna had Danny's license plate number from his 2008 Honda Accord. Was there anything new that really kind of stuck with you from this trial?
From Donna's part, no, absolutely not. I think that we know that she planned, we know that she orchestrated, and we have had an experience with this whole family, and I want to make one very general statement, nothing to do with murder. There are many families today that have divorce. There are many families today that have estrangement. There are many families today that have, brainwashing children. You've heard me talk about this on other programs, but nobody goes to murder. Okay, so here's where the individual part of, and we hope nobody goes to murder. Maybe there's more people now going towards murder, but the point is there's a large group of North Americans and Europeans who have contentious divorces. And the idea to choose to go further really shows the actual criminal mind of this family. And what was striking to me was, and consistent, is when Donna actually said to the inmate, we're going to get you more narcotics as one of your rewards. So think about that. These are people who had a medical background, some of them. They didn't give, to any aspect of anybody else's life or situation as long as they got their own way. So to answer your question, I was not surprised about anything. The license would have been a meaningful piece of her just communicating where they were in the plan and at what step and stage.
Yeah, Ruth is talking about the two jailhouse informants, Patricia Bird and Drina Bernhardt, and those are two people who I've said publicly that Donna would never have associated with unless she was doing it to manipulate them, which she got caught doing. Two more quick questions, Ruth, because I know your time is limited. And by the way, the jurors I spoke to thought that both divorce attorneys for the defense were absolute unmitigated disasters. So you have that. But without a doubt, I think the star witness for the government was Rob Adelson, the one good egg in the family. I just I know you don't have a lot of time, but what would you say either to Rob or about Rob for having the courage to get up there and tell the truth?
I just want to say, and I do speak to him sometimes, Rob, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not because of the fact that in many ways he turned around anybody who had doubt, reasonable doubt. Here was a family member who did it, but the ability to come forward in such a difficult situation. Here he is, a family member, and all the loss that he had. We have a lot of loss, but Rob Adelson has tremendous loss, and his children have loss. And on a personal level, this is an internal struggle that's gone on for him for 11 years. There's no winner in this situation. He's a loser in the family context. He's a loser maybe because of the fact that this is who his real family is. But he really deserves an immense amount of gratitude.
And I'm glad you said that there is no winner. A lot of people think there's a winner at the end of this. It's sort of a bittersweet victory for justice, and kind of ends there. Finally, of course, you've got the prosecutor of the year, Georgia Kappelman, and Sarah Catherine Dugan. But without people, like like Jason Newland at the state attorney's office, and Pat Sanford and Detective Isom, we might never have had a trial. You made it a point to thank law enforcement. Are they the unsung heroes of this? And your final thoughts, Ruth?
100%, all of them. I mean, the unsung heroes really start, from the beginning. The real unsung hero we should acknowledge is James Geiger, because I think if there was not a James Geiger, what neighbor, when you live in a large city like I do, Toronto, New York, or wherever, if you hear a gunshot, you're running away and covering your doors and whatever else, your windows. This guy goes outside, and we owe him the biggest debt. So he's a real unsung. Really, it's a tremendous gift and hero to the family. And then that sets off, obviously, the law enforcement and Georgia Kappelman. And I'm in personal contact frequently with Craig and Pat and others, because they kind of nurture us on the sidelines, just, to help us know where we are. And of course, Georgia, we have, and Sarah and the whole team, and Jack Campbell and Helene Potluck. She's a major player for us and helps us in organizing every time we come to court and so forth. So we are indebted. We are immensely grateful. And like I said at the actual hallway conversation, I believe in my life, I have a lot of trauma, but I have a lot of gifts. And the gifts are also the podcasters, I have to say. The media for our family has been a gift as well. We have not yet had, and I hope we never have, any kind of confrontation or really difficult situation. So thank you.
Ruth, thank you. There's always going to be a hole in the world because of Danny no longer being here. But if there is any silver lining, it's what you just talked about, is that people have come together in his memory. I've gotten to know Ruth, Phil, and Shelley, and now Phil's brother-in-law and his granddaughter, and just a beautiful family, very warm, very sweet. And I hope everything continues to work out for you. And keep those glasses on for a little bit, because you look like a rock star, Ruth. Love you, America. Love you, Canada. Love you, Toronto. Love you, Tallahassee. Justice for Dan Markel. And Ruth, stick around 1 second.